So we're just leaving our accommodation at Santa Cruz. It's called a Coral Hostel, something like that. How is it called?
Galapagos Coral.
Or Galapagos Coral. And you have like a one living room slash kitchen area where you can cook, and you save so much money here because like a meal at restaurant costs like $7 to $10 or more. Like per burger you pay like almost $9 vegan burger, and yeah, so you can cook here. Rice costs not much, like $2 per kilo or something like that. You have a bathroom and you have a bed. You can join it together if you want bigger. $200 for nights, so that's average if you want a kitchen. So it's pretty expensive here, but it's Galapagos. Hello vegan adventurers, welcome to another vlog from Galapagos. So today is our last day at Puerto Ayora and we have few hours to spare before traveling with the boat to another island, San Cristobal. So we're gonna go to the Charles Darwin Research Center to see some giant tortoises, iguanas, and there's some information. So let's get into the vlog. So it's 10 o'clock and we just entered the Charles Darwin Reservation Center, and you can see we are here, Santa Cruz, and in the afternoon we're going to San Cristobal, and then this is Isabella, aka the seahorse island. I'm not sure if we're gonna go there. So no bikes allowed to the Ruta de la Tortugas. You have to leave your bikes here and then walk. Path of the Tortoise. You are on the path of the tortoise. Follow this trail to the giant tortoise rearing center. Along the way, explore how we influence our world and learn how we protect Galapagos. Enjoy your visit. Animals and plants find difficult conditions, but also opportunities. Life exists in the strangest places. On the ocean floor, openings in the planet's crust enable seawater and magma to mix, creating food for fish, worms, and crustaceans. Amazingly, at 340 degrees Celsius, life can thrive in this toxic, sunless place. Islands born of fire. The plates that form our planet are moving constantly, creating hotspots where magma rises through cracks and erupts to form volcanoes. The Galapagos Islands are the tips of underwater mountains formed by many eruptions. On older islands such as Santa Cruz, the volcanoes are extinct, but Isabella Island and Fernandina Island are still active. Reduce, recycle, reuse, and go vegan. And don't buy meaningless shit. Charles Darwin collected samples from many places and would later notice their differences and similarities. The Galapagos mockingbirds intrigued him. A colleague later confirmed that each was a unique species. Could their differences influence their chance of survival? Vegan. Who was Charles Darwin? Darwin was born on February 12, 1809 in England. Darwin's ideas were shared by many great thinkers from the 1700s. Darwin's book on natural selection discusses how adaptation helps survival. Darwin was just 22 when he joined Beagle as an unpaid journalist. The Beagle left England on a 5-year voyage in December 1831. Voyage of the HMS Beagle 1831-1836. They stayed 5 weeks in Galapagos, so they started in England and they went down through Atlantic Ocean and then around South America through the Beagle Channel in Patagonia, in Ushuaia, and then they went up to Galapagos, and took them 5 years. And they also went around South Africa and around Australia all the way to New Zealand. So there's a lot of sailing there. It's really amazing. So they visited Chile, I think Peru, and then some places in South Africa. Wow. So this is the center for breeding the giant turtles, giant tortoises. So these will become big tortoises one day. Down there, see it? What happens at the Fausto Lenera Rearing Center? We investigate how they live, how they behave, and learn what the tortoises need. We study their mortality, their birth, their rate of reproduction, and food preferences. That way we can restore the populations in an effective manner. Protect the nests, bring the eggs to the rearing center, label, weigh, and register the eggs. The heat is provided by a hairdryer and temperature is kept constant by a thermostat. Too hot or too cold and the eggs won't hatch. They feed on their yolk sac for 30 days in a dark box that simulates the nest. They spend the first 2 years in protected pens. They learn to find food and climb rocks. So here you can see the population of little tortoises. So most of them are on Isla Española. So I was surprised by how slowly they can move, but how fast they can eat these plants. So you can see this different type of giant tortoises with different shell. So these are from Isla Floreana and they developed for more drier conditions. So these are breeded giant tortoises from different islands, and right now is their feeding time. So these little tortoises are about 1 year old, so they were hatched at 2016. And these ones must be just few months old. They're from this year's 2017. So it's fascinating how much volume of plants they can eat by grazing all day.
They're 100 years old.
So it was interesting to observe how even the tortoises are kind of protecting their own food, and this tortoise on the right, they want to let the other one go to the food and just guarding all the plants. So the rivalry between animals is everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of tortoises were taken by sailors as fresh food for long trips. Tortoise oil was burned in lamps before electricity, and their shells served many purposes before the invention of plastic. Don't leave the door open or an invader can enter. And there is a domesticated dog eating an iguana. Introduced animals eat eggs and hatchlings or compete for food. Dome shells are adaptations for wet zones where the food is plentiful and close to the ground. Saddleback tortoises are only found in Galapagos. A saddleback shell and long neck and legs are adaptations to finding food in desert zones. The giant tortoises can survive many months without water and food. They can convert their fat to energy. So there are once 15 species of giant tortoises in Galapagos, but only 11 species have survived. So on Fernandina, Pinta, and Santa Fe and Floriana, they extinct, and on the other islands, they still survived. Story of a giant. 1906, the 3 last known Pinta tortoises were collected for museum exhibits. 1971, Lonesome George is found on Pinta. 1972, George was brought to the rearing center to protect him. Hoping he would reproduce, an unsuccessful global search began for a Pinta female. 2012, Lonesome George died without reproducing, the last of the Pinta Island tortoises. Lonesome George, the last Pinta Island tortoise, died on June 24, 2012. He was estimated to be 120 to 130 years old. More than 200,000 giant tortoises once roamed the Galapagos Islands. Today, only 15% remain. For centuries, humans exploited them for their meat and oil, and later introduced animals that ate tortoise eggs and young and destroyed tortoise habitat. A true conservation icon, Lonesome George inspired people across the globe to protect rare creatures. His legacy lives on through the Giant Tortoise Restoration Initiative, an ambitious effort to restore healthy giant tortoise populations to their historic numbers. So here you can see the GPS device they put on the tortoises shells, and the battery can last up to 10 years, and they can see how they migrate from place to place. Galapagos tortoises eat at least 70 species of plants. Many of these are introduced or invasive species. Tortoises eat large amounts of fruit, and the seeds in the fruit often pass through the digestive system intact. One pile of Galapagos tortoises poo can contain thousands of seeds from up to 9 species of plants. Seeds can remain in the gut for up to at least 1 month, during which time a tortoise may migrate over 10 kilometers. Every day, a tortoise poops, thus gently planting seeds in their nutrient-rich dung as they go. This helps plant species spread and survive on Galapagos. The Espanola giant tortoise population once numbered in thousands of individuals. By 1960, the population has been reduced to just 14 adults. Between 1963 and 1974, all survivors, 12 females and 2 males, were brought into captivity and united with another male, Diego, brought back from the San Diego Zoo in 1975. To date, more than 2,000 of their captive-raised offspring have since been released into Ireland, and the population is now self-sustaining. So here you can see the species from Isla Española with typical saddleback shells, and this has been bred from the San Diego male. Baltra iguana declared extinct. The extinction of land iguanas from Baltra Island occurred during the late 1940s. The World War II, thousands of United States servicemen and Ecuadorian personnel built and occupied an American airbase on Baltra. A combination of habitat destruction, predation by humans, dogs and cats, and possible competition with feral goats caused one of the fastest known extinctions of a population of reptiles. In 1954, scientists declared Baltra's land iguanas population extinct. Whoa, brother! The migration is caused by the strong seasonal differences in rainfall and temperature on Galapagos. During the hot, wet season, rainfall is high in all areas of all islands, which causes vegetation to flourish in the lowlands. Tortoises leave the highlands and migrate down the volcanoes to feed on the lush, nutritious plants. When the rain stops, the lowlands dry out, but the highlands are humid all year round, so vegetation continues to grow. Many adult tortoises, but not all, return to the highlands where they can rely on the dependable sources of food. GPS data show that the tortoises on some islands migrate between the highlands and lowlands. On Santa Cruz Island, the migration takes most adult tortoises from close to sea level during the hot wet season to over 400 meters elevation during the cool dry season. Migration often takes place on large trails that are produced by heavy floodwaters, which clear vegetation and make walking easier for the tortoises, then pushing their way through heavy, thick vegetation. Facts about giant tortoises. Giant tortoises are the largest terrestrial reptiles on Earth. Today, giant tortoises are found in only 2 places, in the Galapagos and on the Aldabra Atoll in the Indian Ocean. Giant tortoises once occurred on all continents except Antarctica. Some were much larger than today's Galapagos tortoises. How did giant tortoises colonize Galapagos? It is believed that about 3 million years ago, giant tortoises living on mainland South America were washed into the ocean, floated or were carried on vegetation raft and luckily made it to the shore. The voyage may have taken 6 weeks. Possibly, similar events happen over time within Galapagos and slowly, tortoises spread through the archipelago. The threats to Galapagos giant tortoises. Before humans arrived on Galapagos, giant tortoises thrived across most of the archipelago. Pirates, buccaneers and whalers between the late 1700s and 1860s used giant tortoises as a food source. Possibly 200,000 may have been removed from the archipelago. Again, 200,000! Are you fucking kidding me? Sailors brought rats, pigs and goats to the Galapagos, all of which threatened the giant tortoises. With agriculture also came invasive plant species such as blackberry and elephant grass, which degrade the tortoises' natural habitats. Today, perhaps only 10% of the original Galapagos giant tortoise population remains. Again, only 10%. Are you fucking kidding me? Giant tortoises vulnerability. Migration is an important part of the ecology of some Galapagos tortoise species. However, migration is threatened on some islands by roads, fences, intensive agriculture, urban expansion, and invasive species. The threat of climate change will always be present. So you can see many of these negative effects are a direct cause of animal agriculture. So if you want giant tortoises to keep thriving, stop eating meat. Climate change is also a problem. For example, the temperature in tortoise nests determines the sex of hatchlings. And what is the main cause of climate change? Animal agriculture. We are studying the interactions between giant tortoises, land use and climate change, from which we can devise effective conservation actions. I think the number one actions you should guys take is to stop eating animal products. Like the restoration of plants and animals, I think it's a joke. The same people who like to help the animals are probably eating meat as well and producing the massive, lands to clear up for animal grazing. So, such a hypocrisy. So that's why I'm not even gonna read about this. These people just don't care. Hello, Charles Darwin. How are you? Have you discovered something here? Or is humanity doomed?
You kill all the turtles for food.
Who killed all the turtles for food, man? Was it you? So here we arrived to the beach, which is just a few minutes away from Charles Darwin Center, and there are the land iguanas almost everywhere, so I recommend you to go visit there. And here you can see the Charles Darwin Bigger Voyage. So September 15 to 23rd, 1835, they arrived to San Cristobal Island. Mount Pitt on San Cristobal was the first one sighted as the beagle near the island. Darwin goes onto the shore for the first time on September 18th, while crew members take giant tortoises for food. September 23rd to 28th, Floriana Island. Floriana was an Ecuadorian penal colony when Darwin visited. The colony, whaling and pirate ships caught giant tortoises for food. One ship alone took 700 tortoises. By 1846, the Floriana giant tortoise was extinct. September 28th till October 4th, Isabella Island. Frequently, the beagle stopped for excursions to shore. Darwin was amazed by the number of clumsy lizards, the marine iguanas. October 4th to October 8th, northern islands of Marquena, Genovesa and Pinta. Currents and wind kept the beagle from going to Pinta Island. The ship did not anchor at any of the islands, instead heading to Santiago for needed water. October 8th to October 17th, Santiago Island. No water was found on Santiago, so beagle headed back to San Cristobal. Darwin and couple of others stayed on the island during the weekend and collected some specimens. October 17th to October 20th. The beagle picked up Darwin and his party and collected the crew surveying the Pinta Island. On October 20th, they surveyed the Wolf and Darwin Islands, then headed for Tahiti, over 3,000 miles away. This is our last stop, is the beach where we're gonna eat. So it's 12 o'clock Galapagos time. I brought the heaviest water, 4 liters. And the birds are already waiting. Birdos, birdos, birdos. Really not scared. So at around 1 o'clock we got on the boat to San Cristobal Island from Puerto Ayora. It was a really shaky, wavy ride, so we got pretty sick, especially Sanya didn't feel well. And this is Isla Santa Fe. It's a small island on the way. So it costs about $30 per person and it's pretty rough. So we just arrived to San Cristobal after 2 hours of the worst boat ride. It was so shaky and wavy.
I almost passed out.
Sanya was passed out. I was not sick, but I had to pee a lot.
I had to pee a lot, and I was not sick to throw up. I was sick that I was dizzy in my head.
So the weather on San Cristobal was much sunnier, and we saw the sea lions straight away swimming around. So this island has the most sea lions from any of the other islands. So if you like sea lions, the San Cristobal is the place to go.
They're everywhere! Can we stay here more?
So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these vlogs from Galapagos. And stay tuned for more adventures from San Cristobal. There'll be a lot more sea lions and other sea life. And as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous.